and today we are doing our last final predictions for RWBY Volume 9. Now, we did this last year, and I don't know if you guys remember, but it was a clown show where we called in the entire circus. Tea and Coffee post-credit, Raven post-credit. However, you guys can see I'm wearing the coffee shirt again, so, you know, I'm ready to bring the circus back into town, okay? So, yeah, let's talk about this, and I want to talk about it in order of continuity, like in terms of like what we think is gonna happen, like beat by beat in terms of the episode. So the first thing is that I'm pretty sure that Ruby's gonna talk to Summer. I'm pretty sure the whole point of her grabbing the weapon and the whole point of them making a whole new Summer model is gonna be that Ruby has a conversation with Summer, and hopefully the result of this conversation is like, Mom, but I wanna be like you. I can be exactly like you. You don't need to be exactly like me, honey. That's the whole point. You need to be the best version of yourself, right? Like that conversation. I hope so, because I think it has disturbing implications if like Ruby literally turns into a carbon copy of her mom. I think it would be better for her mom to have like this talk with her, and the talk is sort of like,
and it's like all she needed to do was have that talk to be reassured. She didn't change. She just needed to learn that she had the power to change herself. From the very beginning,
without having to be someone else.
Misty Tinkle Woohoo
Like
magic.
You can become a new version of yourself without having to be another person, like a whole other person.
We don't need the tree. You have the power to change.
Kind of like Roman Holiday in a sense, where like like trivia becomes Neapolitan. Like, it's not like trivia became like some third thing. Like it was like Neo and trivia.
It's like
they all exist all
Ruby
along.
With a will
and she may get like new outfits and stuff. But I think the whole point of that conversation will, like, crossing my fingers, right, will hopefully be like, you are enough yourself. Even if you don't think that you're enough, like, you are enough in of yourself. I don't want you to be a carbon copy of me. And no one expects that from you. And I would have never wanted that from you. And so they hug it out, and like the conversation with Mom's kind of all we needed. And then Ruby goes back into like the wild, right? I don't know if she would still ascend to be a new version of her old self, but I don't think that she would be Summer is the vibe, right? She would construct a new self for herself with the blacksmith, and that kind of fits in with like Ruby building Crescent Rose and everything. It's like, okay, like this is what I want. And she would still
be herself. She would just be a more confident version of herself.
Exactly.
That's the only thing she ever needed to change.
Yeah.
Because she was always good enough.
And she breaks out of the wood.
And they start playing Holding On For a Hero from the Shrek 2 soundtrack. And she runs in.
Number 2, how did Alex and Lewis fall? Because if they never answer that, I'm going to go to the tree. But like, I have this idea that the blacksmith is Alex, which we made in a different video. With the idea that the blacksmith is Alex, which we talked about this week, our idea is that Alex has fixed everything in the ever after the cat dies. The blacksmith reverts back into Alex, and then maybe we could learn how they fall that way. Like, I think that we need the reveal on how they got there, or I'm gonna drive myself fucking crazy. Like, I'm not joking. So that's the second thing.
It would be funny if they just never explained that.
I hope they explain some stuff.
She fell through the world. Never fallen through the world before. It happens to me all the time.
I hope they explain anything.
I step out the door in the morning, trip, fall, and all of a sudden I'm talking to Mr. Tumnus and
So that's my second prediction, is that we get the confirmation on how exactly Alex and Lewis got there, because Alex is still there to ask. She's right there. She is the blacksmith. Blacksmith reveal. Also, Little. I'm sure we'll find out what happened to Little and where Little went. Some people think that Little's gonna come back as a human Faunus character.
Or no, like someone who looks like, I think it would be funny if they looked like a Faunus, but they had, they had mouse ears and a mouse tail.
Yeah,
so actual people would be like, wait a minute, you're not a Faunus, you have ears and a tail.
And so I kind of like the idea of human Little. However, what the blacksmith was making
looked like a big
Little.
Little.
Like a big
Little's
rat.
big now.
So I think that
big old mouse.
we kind of may be getting the Rat King from like the Nutcracker or something.
This is what I want. So the same way, and I've talked about this on the stream, and lovely Jum Jams, whom I adore and is an amazing RWBY artist that you should all watch. You can put it up screen maybe.
Yeah.
Did the drawing of my idea, and it was that Little, just the same way that RWBY gets to pick a weapon, Little gets to pick a weapon too, and Little goes up to the biggest, baddest, double-sided battle axe there, and he's like, this one. Little still has the same Little voice.
But I do
which
feel
I think
like
would be adorable.
we have to find out what happened to Little, though, because they kind of left
Okay, hint it.
Like, we need to know. Maybe it'll be a post-credit scene. But,
I think Little's gonna come in and save the day somehow.
It. Okay, I want to mention this.
Day.
Some people think that Little is gonna combine with RWBY in some capacity.
That's weird. I don't think about that.
I think that I don't know. But, like, don't you think it would be problematic if they make RWBY, like,
a
mouse faunus?
Except,
and, like,
unless she had ears and a tail, then she wouldn't be a faunus.
It would be weird. It would still be weird. I think
when you consider that faunus people are a persecuted group.
Yeah. I don't know.
You don't need to entertain people's bad ideas.
But people were saying that Little was, like, a little hope. So it would make sense to come back to RWBY in some way. I'm just not sure if that is the way or that is the motion.
But now they can be a big hope with an axe that goes on, and then they go to Vacuo and they fight.
Oh my god. But yeah, I don't think if Little is human, yes. If Little's a giant rat, no to going to Vacuo. But I do think we're going to find out.
I hope they become a not quite a faunus. What would Little's like weapon be? What's a good weapon for a mouse?
I think the battle axe thing.
I like the battle axe idea. You kind of like that, don't
you? I think it would be cool if it was a scythe, because Little wants to be like RWBY. I think that would be really cute.
That would be so cute. Maybe Little could have two scythes.
Yeah.
And they're like maybe sickles.
Like kind of like garden hose.
Yeah. So they're sickles.
Little had trouble picking the cheese at the very
beginning.
That's true.
And also because Little's little, so they wouldn't have a big scythe. They'd have a little sickle. That makes sense.
Something.
Yeah, I think Little should have two sickles.
But I think
they fight.
We're going to find out. Is my point. Like I think that we kind of. Like, they killed Little, and then we never saw what happened. So I think that's definitely going to be something.
But big is happening.
Okay.
Little to big.
Something
to long.
Dealing with Neo and the cat. I made a whole theory on what I think is going to happen to Neo. I'm not going to re-explain all of it, but basically, like, either she calls the Jabberwockers, or she makes a clone of herself or Roman to kill herself, and then she ascends and becomes wood, and, like, we don't quite know what she selected for her new purpose or her new life or whatever, but, like, she's alive. Like, she's not dead. They resolve it by, like, Neo helping out the heroes somehow at the 11th hour. Like, it's either the fake Jabberwockers to freak the cat out and get the cat to run away, or it's, like, buy her own parasol, which I think would be pretty metal and cool, or Roman comes and he does it. Like, whatever, right? But regardless of that, like, I would like to predict that we are going to see Roman at least one last time. Because if Neo, like, dies, I at least request that, like, Roman would meet her in the afterlife. Like, they have to do something to at least resolve. Like, they can't just kill Neo and have her be dead. Like, I feel like they need some sort of resolution. Like, even Hazel, when he knew he was gonna die, we got that kind of like, right? We at least need, like, some sort of closure. And so I do think she is going to ascend. However, regardless of ascension and everything, I will put Roman appearance, like, somehow, whether he's guiding her into the afterlife or he's asking her what she wants to be or whatever, we are going to see Roman one last time, because I think it would be a shame. I
have one thing that I want from Curious Cat. One of my favorite things about what that villains do is when they have their final form.
Oh.
Where it's like, when they become a bigger monster. I would like that freak nasty cat is already more freak nasty now that they've taken over Neo's body. But I want them to turn into some massive gargantuan creepy creature that could be a large enemy crab.
Oh my god. I mean, we may get that black and white cat.
Yeah,
again.
Maybe something.
If
the black and white cat.
If it ejects out of Neo, maybe that would be the final monster instead of Neo.
Yeah, it would be fun if we got everyone to fight, like, big monster.
Yeah.
Curious Cat that
and, like,
may or may not have spider legs.
Maybe Neo is still alive at that point, and she helps them but dies in the process,
which,
right?
Now kind of reminds me of the end of It, final form.
But there's a big cat and they all fight it.
Big
on
monster
the cat
fight.
Like, okay, there have been people arguing about this. I still have sympathy for the cat. Like, I know the cat killed Alex, and I know the cat did bad things, but to me, at least, and maybe I'm just more empathetic than a lot of people, like, I'm willing to let some stuff go because I like Neo, right? And so maybe I'm just inherently on the inside, like, I'm just more prone to just letting stuff go. But, like, the cat to me is like a child that has been abandoned by both of their parents. Like, of course he's acting out, right? So, like, I don't want the cat to die. Like, I would really rather not that be what happens. I would rather that they just separate Neo from the cat and someone, I don't want to say give a pep talk, but, like, basically, like, listen, okay? The gods betrayed us and they betrayed you. We're all in this together, right?
Yeah.
Like that sort of
We
situation.
all hate God
Yeah,
here.
like, you know, and so I would really like it if the cat wants to ascend into a person, right? And they go back to Remnant on their own someday. Maybe not with the team.
I don't know.
But they go back
I'm
to
not-
Remnant as a person, because that's what they want to
yeah.
be, is they want to be human. So maybe someone in Team RWBY could be like, if human is what you want to be, why don't you ascend to be human? Like, I know you'll lose your memories, but sometimes that's what you have to sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
And that conflicts with the cat's purpose of knowing everything. But then in the last episode, or the last 2 episodes, we find out that the cat was lying about its purpose anyway. So, like, I don't know. Like, I would like them to resolve the cat.
It almost
without
seems
murder.
like the cat is unbound by its this thirst for knowledge.
Yeah, and so I'm wondering, like,
So I guess it is
really
bound
like
to what it wants, but it's starting to rebel.
I would
because-
like it to, like, the
already
cat
knows.
is able to ascend into a new thing, too.
Maybe.
I think that would be interesting.
So that's like 3 different people that are ascending now.
But, like,
I know.
you know, the cat doesn't
potentially.
need to come back to Remnant with them, potentially.
I don't know if I
because the cat
want
wouldn't
the Remnant to come
remember.
back.
Right?
What
Like,
I-
cat
what
would
I do-
forget if they ascended.
what
But the
I-
idea
yeah.
is like, oh, well, the cat wanted to be human, so they got
What
it.
I do want to happen is that we almost hear the cat talk about the god.
I'm trying to figure out how,
Yes.
like, why the gods left
Yes,
me
why
to
the gods
make all
left
of
us,
you.
yes.
Right? So I feel like that's setting up the lesson of, like,
Yes.
it doesn't need to be death. The cat can figure out the answer.
But even like I don't need the cat to be redeemed because like you know it's nice to have a good villain.
Right. But I'm just saying,
and we
like,
don't need
I
all the
still
villains
kind
to
of
be
feel
redeemed.
bad for the cat. Like, so,
But
like,
regardless of that, I would want the cat to at least like exposit to an extent what they were mentioning in that earlier episode.
Right. About the, I mean,
Yes.
it's pretty clear. It seems pretty
It's-
open and
I mean,
shut
I guess
to an
that's true,
extent.
but maybe in discussing that, we also learn how Alex and
Lewis actually felt,
got there,
because we
so
do still need that.
maybe they could expand the world out in a way that doesn't seem unnecessary and clunky exposition.
I agree. Jaune turns back to himself, question mark. Like, Jaune turns back into Twink Jaune, as we've been saying. I think that kind of needs to
Twan.
happen. I have to expect next episode, he will literally climb up the tree
Well,
and
because
be
he did
normal.
fall down, so do you think he will get rebirth?
Yeah,
as
and
well?
like, he won't forget or anything. He'll
But,
just
like,
be
he'll
back
come back
because
Twinkie.
he learned from the old man stuff, right? Like, oh, I was being
Yes.
selfish with the paper pleasers. So now you think he could change and be like the old Jaune that he was, but still keep all his memories and all his trauma. So it's not like
Yes.
they're resetting Jaune, because I do think there should be
A
some
soft
consequences
reset.
for
Yes.
falling here. But it's not that they're resetting Jaune, they're just making him look like how he was, because he's accepted he's not the Rusted Knight anymore.
Do you think
Therefore,
that-
he no longer
Do
looks
you
like the
think that
Rusted
Jaune
Knight.
will die? Because that's a theory
See,
that
I
people have
had
held
a
for a
theory
while.
like that, but now I'm like, I don't know. Like, I feel like that there hasn't been enough death flags for Jaune.
That's
Like, if
true.
Jaune died next episode, like, actually died, I would be very shocked. Like, I would
be
have not
shocked,
seen that
too.
coming.
Yeah.
And usually I'm the person that, like, oh, well, clearly this person would, like, Hunter and I will be watching something and I'll be like, this is who did it. This is why they did it. Like, it was the mom. The mom doesn't
Watching
approve
mystery
of the...
shows with you is
It was
great.
the mom. The mom doesn't approve of the relationship. Like, the daughter made a false statement because she was bullied by her mother, and then I press play. Right? Like, literally within the first
3
5
minutes
seconds.
into an episode of
Even with anime, like, on Taxi,
Very smart.
I predicted who, like, the murderer was
Oh.
and whatever, and the twist in Odd Taxi. With Shadow's House, I predicted the twist. Like, I am good at this, okay? Like, I would be completely blindsided if Jaune died here. Like, completely. Like, it's not even a contest. So, we apparently had a Jaune death theory, because in the Google Doc where I write down, like, all the videos we're gonna make, all the videos we've had made, all the videos that need to be edited, Jaune death theory is there with Velvet becomes the Summer Maiden, but I didn't write any notes about why we thought Jaune was gonna die. So there's literally, like, no information. Like, there's literally nothing. So I don't know. We thought he would at one point, but why?
But,
Fuck if I know, right? So anyway, I hope not, because I feel like that would really come out of left field, at least to me. But I half expect him, when he crawls back up, he will be normal Jaune again, because the whole point is that, like, Jaune accepted that he's not the Rusted Knight. Like, even the cat says, like, you were never the Rusted Knight. That was just the fairy tale. Like, the fairy tale was never real. So I think Jaune accepting that definitely does need to happen. Anything else for the actual episode? Because I do want to talk about post-credit.
I like the idea of potentially Alex could once their job as the blacksmith is over, they've completed their purpose. And we had a video that might release first. I'm not sure about how we think that Alex is the blacksmith. That now that the Ever After is kind of back to how it's status quo, how it's meant to be, that maybe Alex could return. And that makes sense because, as we mentioned in the last video, they have a whole ass 3D model for Alex, which is expensive to make. And they have probably it's the same voice actor, I would have to guess, that does Blacksmith, that would do Alex. Like, it feels weird to, like, waste the character. Yeah. So maybe having Alex show up and join the gang.
Raven Watch 2023. I feel like it'd be really funny. Like, what if they don't go through the portal? Like, what if Raven literally
shows up right
before they go into the portal? I know some people hate the idea of Raven Ex Machina, or like, what was the point when Raven could have gone in the whole time? And I'm just like, I don't care.
I made this joke before.
So funny.
I made this joke in the live stream, but it kind of reminds me of in the end of the Lord of the Rings when everyone's just like, wait, why did Gandalf just pick up Frodo and Sam in the bird? Why didn't you just fly there?
But it could also be that
bird and drop
Yang
the ring
is in mortal
in the
peril
first place
because of Neo, like as a reference to the Neo Yang fight that happened in Volume 2. And so it can be this idea that like it's not that Raven came in and is like a replacement for the portal. It's that only these exact sets of circumstances could Raven, like, actually give a fuck, which is Yang being in danger. Unless they thought for Yang to purposefully try to kill herself, right? Like, to call back her mom. Like, they would have never thought of that. So I feel like that even though that's something people would probably complain about, I think that it would be justified if it is in, like, the Neo rematch world. Because then we never know where the portal leads or where it, like, returns on Remnant. And that way, like, we don't know that Crow's in Vacuo, but he's in Vacuo, right? Like, he has to be, right? So it's easy. Like, they just teleport to Yang, and then they teleport to Crow, and then everyone's there, and it's like, some people also were like, what if Raven, like, feels Summer's spirit and is like, I'm, like, what the fuck, right?
Well, so, what if she could, funny. What if she, I mean, she probably had a connection to,
So what if when Ruby talks to Summer,
so
Raven
Summer
is like,
X Raven?
Excuse
Summer
me?
X Raven?
Like, Ruby has pulled Summer out of the afterlife to talk to her, right? You know what I mean? Like, for the sake of the tree bullshit? Like, literally, and Raven's just like, what the fuck is going on here? Anyway, I want Raven to come save them. I'm sorry, I'll be that person. I think that what we're going to get is that in the post-credit, like, Team RWBY goes through the portal. However, we do not see them come out of the portal. What we see is where Nora, Winter, and the crew were fighting the Grimm originally. Like, we're back to the end of the sandstorm, okay? And then the post-credit is Team Coffee coming through the sandstorm. I want it so bad. Like, I know the Fox Alistair model's there. I know it's there.
If this one's for Raven, this one's for Team Coffee.
Yeah.
And so, then we need to buy more party poppers.
For next time, right? But yeah, I'm so convinced we'll see Team Coffee. I think that would be cool if, like, we're back at the sandstorm that we left off at Volume 8.
Yeah.
And, like, maybe even, like, we see Team Coffee show up, and then, like, we see someone looking at their scroll, and it pans upward, and it's Theodore, and we see Theodore for the first time. Theodore Coffee Copium, please.
Yes.
But do you understand what I'm saying, Hunter? Like, it's like Team Coffee goes to rescue them, and Theodore's, like, seeing this on a drone or something like that, right? Because Velvet has all the technology. So he's, like, looking on a scroll, and, like, we don't know who it is, but then the camera pans up, and it's like, hello again, Crow, or something. Because, like, we have this theory that Theodore and Crow have some relationship, because in the novels, they, like, Crow's the only picture, I think, that Theodore has that's not, like, taken down or whatever. Like, he's put Osmond and Lionheart in a box, but he's
we also have Theodore in the background, and there's just they show a random photo of a little girl. Yeah. So I like the idea of trans.
Yeah,
Theodore.
Trans
So
Theodore.
I want Theodore with his shirt open, and we see his mastectomy scars.
Yeah,
I want
maybe.
that.
But I think we probably wouldn't know that, though.
No, unless he's shirtless.
Yeah, but we probably wouldn't know that, like,
it seems like a kind of shirtless spot.
You know what I mean? We'd probably find that out when we actually, like, interact with Theodore to a greater extent. But Team Coffee, Theodore Copium.
Instead of seeing anything of Vacuo, we go back to, like, because we have the theory of, like, Neo gets put into the tree.
Right,
and
like,
we just see her, like wooden thing, and you see, like, a little pink crack in her face.
Yeah, like, you don't exactly know.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be the post-credit, but I feel like they'd also address that in the episode. I don't know.
Maybe. I just like the idea where it's just like, oh, like Neo will return in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Like,
I mean, I did entertain the idea that the wooden Neo would be the post-credit, but some people were like, that's the final scene is of Neo Cal. Isn't that biased, right? So I was trying to make it less biased, but I do think that having that as the final scene
I do like the idea of like Vacuo family reunion and Raven's there and everyone's fighting and everyone's safe. That would be fun.
But I think that's it.
That's
really. I don't
think we have any other ideas. Unless it does something stupid, like it cuts back and like the Red Prince is still crying, or Jinxie's still like.
Well, maybe we'll see like
stuff.
one more like the characters that we met along the way, big overshot. Maybe while Alex is explaining, well, the Ever After's fixed now, so I can go home. We would see like all the friends we made along the way. Would it be fun?
Because we know that Penny fell, but we never see her body. So do you think it'd be interesting if they did something with Penny in some capacity?
Some people think that Little is Penny. But like, I don't know though. Like, I feel like that if Penny comes back as a human again,
third time,
because Little remembers that they're Penny and ascends into Penny. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like the Penny question still exists.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
And we don't know what it could be. But I'm just
she was talking to Winter in the afterlife.
That's true.
Let this bitch rest.
That's true.
Bitches just want to rest.
But there's bodies there, so like, you know.
But like, bitches just want to let her go to sleep.
What if we got like in the post-credit scene, it was like what about if it was the Gentile gems they gave Penny a funeral and they buried her,
like the
and they gave her a little palat. Yeah, and they put the little. That would be cute if they buried her.
This is random.
That would be really sad.
If Jaune does die, I expect Pyrrha to go get his ass, and then we could see Penny like in the background or something.
If Jaune dies, I hope we get like an Arcos reunion.
Yeah, but anyway, that's a whole other story. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys had fun. And we'll see you guys.
I kind of want a Penny funeral now. I'm not gonna lie.
In the next one. Bye, guys.
Bye.